Welcome to the Ringer Fantasy Football Show. My name is Danny Heifetz. I am joined by Danny Kelly and Craig Horlbeck, and Sunday night of Week 7 is in the books. We're going through our awards here. Sorry to producer Carlos. His Miami Dolphins just lost.
Tough one.
To the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Game of the Year, Part 3. The game was, what was the final score? Honestly, it was weird because I just thought
31-17.
31-17. Could have been 38-17. I will say this. I feel like the only two things I really kind of wanted to talk about from this game were the tush push and AJ Brown being unbelievable. But I'll just say, good. Like, overall, the vibe, though, this felt like the Mountain and the Viper, like speed versus power, but it felt like Mountain and the Viper, except, you know, in Game of Thrones, except if Oberyn had never actually gotten the lead at any point in that fight. You know what I mean? It's like if the Mountain had just like grabbed Oberyn immediately.
Just pushed him around balls. Jesus.
Yeah.
That scene is brutal.
I don't know, DK. Yeah, it's where you kind of like that last drive the Eagles had where they did the tush push twice. That kind of felt like he got his hands around his head, right?
God, it just lifts him up above him. Oh God. Yeah, it's like, dude, they're sort of what you're getting at. I think is just like speed and gracefulness, and you know, lack of size, I guess, versus just power, like unstoppable power. And that was exactly what the Eagles
famous quote about getting punched in the face? Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. It kind of feels like that's what happens to the Dolphins. Yeah. You know, where it's like when things are going right and like everything they're calling is working, like they're unstoppable, but the second somebody punches them in the face, it gets a little dicey. I mean, Dolphins are 5-2. If you look at their record, they beat the Chargers by 2. They beat the shitty Patriots. They beat the Broncos. They beat the Giants, and they beat the Panthers. And they've lost to Philly tonight and the Bills. So we don't even really know. They've beaten all the bad teams, and they lost to the good teams.
Carlos, do you want to hop in here for 2 seconds and defend the Dolphins?
I know Tyreek dropped that pass. That's fair. That would have been a touchdown.
I would just like to point out that they didn't not only beat the bad teams, they destroyed the bad teams. And those same bad teams,
that does matter.
The Bills scored 14 points against the Giants and barely beat them. And then the Bills lost to the same Patriots team that we're calling bad. Just throwing that out there.
But you lost to the Bills, so what does that mean?
I will say the one thing Carlos said to me before.
Transitive property? What is this?
Yeah.
Transitive property, be careful, because I could figure something. Even the Giants are going to win a couple
Giants
games.
are like the best team in the league by the transitive property.
It's clusterfuck if we actually try and use that.
The Cardinals are making the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I feel obligated to acknowledge that there were 10 flags on the Dolphins and 0 on the Eagles, which I cannot remember.
What's up with that?
That's kind of weird with the face mask they missed.
When you see that, though, do you think, man, like what an unlikely outcome, that shouldn't happen? That's like a referee thing. Or does that tell you like the Eagles are disciplined, Miami is not?
It depends on who you're rooting for.
I think it's a little bit of both. A little bit of both.
I think that the refs want to make it out of the Philadelphia parking lot safely, with their tires and cars intact. But no, I think the Eagles are just incredible, and it really does feel like when they get a lead in any game, it just is really tough, especially now that they have Swift. Yeah. But AJ Brown, I like, how many receivers in the NFL, Craig, do you feel like are better than AJ Brown? Or not even better, but like even on his level, right? Like right now, like Justin Jefferson's out of it. He's on
probably 4. Right now, who are healthy? It's probably Tyreek, Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase. That's it.
Yeah. He's obviously so completely different than Tyreek Hill, but I almost want to put Kelsey in the conversation because we can get to him later. But Kelsey just has in the exact opposite way that Tyreek Hill literally always open, and I can't even explain it anymore. And AJ Brown's different. AJ Brown feels always covered, but he just catches it anyway.
This goes back to what I said last week. It's like he's big, strong, fast, physical, has just that elite size, but then he's also got really soft hands and he catches the really hard passes. So it's like truly, where's the hole in his game? You know,
he's like the ultimate wide receiver hinge profile. You know, it's like he checks every box. Like what does it? Oh, he's tall. He has a good job. He's like really close with his mom. He has everything.
Man, by the way, also he's absolutely left Devontae Smith in the dust this year. Just the absolute dust. And I like Devontae Smith, but man, because I remember, you know, in the offseason, it was a little bit like 1A, 1B, and that was what the numbers looked like last year, at least for the second half of the season. But AJ Brown is the freaking alpha in this offense.
I think you could say the same thing on the other side of the ball with Miami. The same thing with Hill and Waddle.
Totally.
Waddle is having a Devontae Smith-esque season where last year it was like 1A, 1B with Hill and Waddle, and now it's like truly number one Hill and a tier below is Waddle.
Absolutely.
A.J. Brown, 10 catches, 137 yards and a touchdown. 5 straight games of 125 yards, tying the record with Calvin Johnson. And wow. I put the other name that he tied was Pat Studstill.
What year?
What year is this? Pat Studstill, born in 1938 in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Shreveport?
Is it Shreveport?
Yeah.
Or Shreveport?
I mean, I think it's around that, yes. They probably say it with a southern accent, but yes.
Did you just like laugh at me and then realize mid-correction that you might not be right?
Shreveport. Come on.
No, I didn't say Shreveport. I said Shreveport.
Okay, well.
Is it Shreveport?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Unsure. Anyway, the point is Pat Studstill. There you go. AJ Studstill. That's really what he's at. All right. So
the Eagles are good. I think we've established.
Eagles are great. Yeah. And in conclusion, the Dolphins I still think are going to be good because I feel like honestly the most physical teams are in the NFC and the Dolphins, they have to get to the Super Bowl to have this problem. We're
practically halfway through the year now. And I think I've now come back to the two best teams in the league are just, the Niners are, it's probably maybe the Niners still, but like Chiefs and the Eagles, I've really come back around on this week. And now I'm like, it might just be the Chiefs and the Eagles again.
Yeah, I think so too.
Inevitability. Yeah.